Is it going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Be strong.
Hi everybody. We are back for another video coming to you straight from our
Kitchen.
Yup. So this time we're not going to eat quite as much food as last time, but we're still going to enjoy some delicious food that reminds us of our road trip that we did last year.
Roadie.
Anyways, so we are going to be going through our trip state by state. This is not going to be a like how to plan a road trip video. That's going to come at you guys soon. This is just basically a recap of what we did because it was before the vlog. So besides pictures and little videos we took, we don't have any sort of a documentation. So here we go. You want to start?
We got in the car early, I think. I don't remember.
Yes.
And went to Tennessee.
You're the only 10 I see.
Nashville, Tennessee. Because you're Nashville hot.
I said it first.
No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You just said you're the only 10 I see.
Right, so I hit you with the pickup line first. Those of you who do not know, we are in North Florida. So we started in North Florida, headed up to Tennessee, to Nashville, spend one night in Nashville. And what is the first thing you think about when someone says Nashville, Tennessee?
Square dancing.
I mean, I could see that, but not the answer I was looking for.
Country music.
I'll give you a hint.
Nashville Tupperware.
All right, so the first thing I think about when someone says Nashville is Nashville hot chicken sandwich. So obviously that was the first thing on our list. We wanted to stop at the famous Hattie B's, which is where the Nashville hot chicken sandwich originated. We got there at like an awkward time. It was at like 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't 12 because it wasn't a meal time. And it was a 2.5 hour wait for a sandwich.
2.5 hours for a sandwich.
Well, obviously in Nashville, every single restaurant serves the Nashville hot chicken sandwich. So we said, heck no, we are not waiting. So we went to the Florida Georgia Line House, which was a blast. They had live music. It's a super popular bar there. If you like country music, you obviously know who country music. You obviously know who Florida Georgia Line is. I'm not a huge country music fan, but it was still really cool. And anyways, the sandwich was absolutely fabulous. Bangin'. I wish you could buy, I wonder if you can buy the sauce. Like, because they have their own Florida Georgia Line Nashville hot chicken sauce. So, anyways, we got a Nashville hot chicken sandwich from here, local. So, please, begin, enjoy. That's a French fry. That's not a sandwich.
That's from France. I've been there.
Okay, I will start. Right off the bat, the one that we got from the Florida Georgia Line House was much more exciting. It had like slaw and cheese and pickles. This is just chicken and sauce and...
Mayonnaise.
No, I think that's... I don't know what that is.
Mayonnaise.
Mm-mm.
Miracle Whip.
Mm-mm. Actually pretty good.
Ooh, spicy.
Oh, weird. So yes, that's pretty good. So, next up, Nashville.
Don't.
That's for the fries. Anyways, in Nashville we discovered the scooters, which are the best thing in the entire world. The Lime or the Bird, whatever those little rentable scooters are, awesome. If you are in a city that has them, you must rent them, have a blast. So we haven't ridden this. You must. Like, do not skip it. You'll regret it. So we haven't ridden a scooter since we were like small children. We're like, oh, this will be fun. This is a good idea. Nashville might not be the best place to ride a scooter if you haven't ridden a scooter in 20 years because steep hills. And we were going down this hill in the middle of traffic, going far too fast. Like, I thought the handlebars was going to shake off the scooter. Having the time of my life, but also petrified. Wasn't quite sure where the brakes were. I knew one of the two of us was going to die. But I didn't. And he didn't. And it was great. And it was fun. So we rent the scooters, cruise around. That was fun. And then we also saw the mural, the Kelsey Montague. Montague. I hope we're saying that right. She does all of like the famous murals that she paints all around, and that's the one that's probably the most well known. I think that was her original. Anyways, it's the big angel wings that says "What lifts you." So obviously we had to find that and took a picture with that, which we will include there. And that was fun to see. And there was such a line, like obviously a very popular photo op.
What's your fun to see?
Right, so one night in Nashville, woke up the next morning, got some breakfast.
Breakfast. I don't even remember what we had.
I don't either.
We got hotel breakfast, I know that.
Oh yeah, because this is also prime COVID season, mind you. So it was like brown bag.
Yeah.
Brown bag. We had like a granola bar and an apple.
And cereal.
Mm-hmm.
And a muffin.
Mm-hmm. An Otis Spunkmeyer. Oh, loaded up, packed up, and then next stop.
I don't remember. Just kidding.
Oh my god.
We went to Indiana. We went to Indiana. I don't know the bar name where we went to, but we ate burgers. I don't remember what you had.
I don't know.
And then we watched the game and left and headed to
Michigan. Also, we watched the Colts game in Indianapolis. Background, he's a huge Colts fan. So we timed it properly to where we would be going through the center of Indianapolis in the fourth quarter of the Colts game. So we stopped at a bar and had late lunch and got to watch the Colts win against the Panthers, right?
Bengals.
A big cat. So yeah. So we watched them win, and then we got back in the car, went about another 4.5, 5 miles-ish.
Hours.
Uh-huh.
Miles.
Not miles.
I wish it was miles.
Yeah, add a couple zeros behind that.
Yeah. 4.5, 5 miles.
No, more
Until
like...
we got out of the parking lot, and then we headed.
And then we headed to Michigan to visit the family. So they are in Whitehall, which is really close. It's really close to Lake Michigan. So we got up there. Now at this point, okay, we're going from like pretty fall weather to ice on the ground. We were in Michigan for 2 nights and stayed at our family's house, which was really nice. They took us to this cool bar called Rad Dad's, which is like attached to their hockey.
They're like minor league hockey arena.
Yes, which was so cool. So it was just a random, I think it was a Monday. So it was super quiet, nobody in there. So we got there, we got some drinks, we got some tacos. They serve delicious tacos. They also have like axe throwing and arcade games there too. And meanwhile, while we're eating, their minor league hockey team is just practicing behind us in the rink, which was so cool, especially as Floridians, because hockey's not really big down here because, you know, hot weather and such. And not nearly as close to Canada, where all the hockey is.
No.
So we did that. We went to a couple of breweries. We found another Kelsey Montague mural in Muskegon. We went to Lake Michigan, and that was actually the date of our anniversary. So that was fun. Went and saw the lake. Last time we were up there, it was much colder, and the pier was like frozen over, and we didn't really get to go onto the beach. So it was nice to see it before it becomes a frozen wasteland.
Wonderland.
No, wasteland. Frozen wasteland. Anything frozen is a wasteland.
Whatever.
I said it here first.
She said it.
So, funny story in Michigan.
What's the story?
The futon.
What's the scoop? I wasn't there.
Yes, you were. Okay.
No, I wasn't actually.
Okay. So we're staying in the home, and there wasn't enough room for us to stay in the room together. So one of us got the couch and one of us got the pull-out futon. Him being the gentleman gave me the futon and he took the couch. So middle of the night, I roll over and this freaking futon launches me into the wall.
Send it.
Like, I'm here and I roll to the side and it goes wham! Like something you would see in a terrible sitcom. Anyways, the futon literally launched me into the wall, and it was the funniest thing in the entire world, but nobody else was in the room with me to experience it. But yeah, anyways, so moving on. There are 2 days, and then we peace out, head further west.
And
west,
we went to
west.
Omaha.
Nebraska. We also, when you're in a car with each other for, I can't even math how many hours.
1 million hours.
Yeah, like 6,000 miles, no exaggeration. You get some really weird songs. And some really weird sayings and some really weird inside jokes.
Omaha.
Nebraska. So, we go from Michigan to Omaha. The sole purpose of Omaha was literally just to be a sleepover because we tried to break our drives up into like no more than like 9 hours at a time because that's a lot of driving for one day, and we wanted to actually be able to like do some stuff in the evenings and not just drive.
Most legs were like 8 hours, which isn't bad. 8 hours goes by fast when you're
Listening to Harry Potter audiobooks.
anticipating your next destination. Yeah, we listened to no music that entire trip.
From our house to Nashville, we listened to music. After Nashville, nothing. All Harry Potter audiobook. And I'll have you know that we still have not listened to all the Harry Potter audiobooks. So if you're going on an incredibly long road trip like crazy people like ourselves, start the Harry Potter audiobooks. You won't finish them. More than enough content to get you through. So anyway, so we go to Omaha. Now I'm never going to be able to say Omaha again. It's always going to be Omaha. But on our way to Omaha, we drove through, what's that, like Iowa, Illinois. I don't know which order those come in. And we got our first, well, my first, not his first, White Castle. So we have crystals here.
Boo.
I really enjoy crystals.
I don't like either.
Well, you're going to have to do it for the video. What's not to like? They're like cute little cheeseburgers.
Yeah, but they taste like plastic.
Well, that's only because I heated those up in plastic.
No, even the ones from the restaurant taste like plastic.
Oh. We're driving through all those little states, seeing all the windmills. I feel like that's all we saw for 8 hours.
Windmills and corn.
Windmills and corn. So, got to Omaha. Would you like some ketchup?
Oh, cool.
Got to Omaha. We went to a local little restaurant, watched some sports, just hung out around, wandered, spent the night, woke up the next morning, went to this place called Ansel's Pastrami. They had this delicious pastrami and bagels and breakfast sandwiches. Saw yet another Kelsey mural.
Yeah.
That was one with the balloons. Did that, and then got back in the car and headed to our ultimate destination, which was the whole point of this trip, which was
Gone Denver.
This is good.
Not bad.
See? Not bad.
Denver, Colorado,
Yes.
where we spent like what felt like 3 weeks, but was only like a week. 5 days.
It was the ultimate destination, and we had been wanting to go to Denver for a long time, and had full intentions of flying there, of course, because that's a million miles away. But with COVID, flying wasn't really an option, and we had to change our vacation anyway, so we had 2 weeks, and it's like, shoot, let's make a giant road trip. Why the heck not? So we did. So we got to Denver, and in Denver, the first major thing we did was went to the Red Rocks to see the amphitheater and some of the trails, and it was so cool, like absolutely breathtaking. We wish we could have seen a
Literally.
concert. Altitude's real high. They don't call it the Mile High City because of the recreational marijuana. Okay, I'm just saying. So
Weed is bad.
So we get there and yeah, we can't see a concert at the amphitheater, unfortunately, because COVID. I feel like I've already said that a million times. But we did get to wander around and see everything and did the little trails. Well, we attempted to do some trails and highly underestimated the altitude change. So here we literally live
Underwater.
Prac-
Under the sea.
practically at sea level. So anyways, we're real low here, and then we went there and we were real high. I don't mean like that. But no. But it was real hard to breathe. And we were trying to walk all these stairs and do all the things. But anyways, it was still beautiful and we loved it and highly recommend. You can not go out west and not go see the Red Rocks because they're just incredible. And red. Yes.
And red.
Very red.
Kind of orange.
Mm-hmm.
And we also walked around like the city a whole lot. Went to different bars and restaurants and breweries and places to chill and I mean,
We saw
didn't do
Coors
anything
Field,
crazy. Yeah,
which is where who plays?
the Rockies.
Mm-hmm. And we scooted some more because
Scooted a lot.
scoot is life.
I don't think we took an Uber in Denver.
We did when we went to Mangonautas.
Oh yeah, the dude with a gigantic crack in his Toyota Prius.
That was on the way back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the lady was on the way there.
We met this super cool lady on the way to get the Mangonautas who had just recently done a huge road trip around Florida, which was kind of funny. So we had Floridians on a road trip hanging out with a Denverian?
Colorado.
With a lady from Denver. And she was talking to us who had just done the road trip in Florida. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, just wandered, sightseeing. Saw the sights.
We saw some stuff.
We saw all the things. And we got concussions. Care to elaborate?
Don't go to a bar and walk back in the rain / under freezing weather unless you have snowshoes on. Because when we stepped on the grate, I tried to protect her and catch her, which in turn ended up in both of us having mild to severe concussions.
I couldn't open my mouth fully for like 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure I fractured the back of my skull.
She's being a little dramatic.
I'm not being dramatic. Like, I couldn't like touch my head for 2 months.
Literally went back to the hotel and like wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah. And then the next day I did nothing but sleep. Like, could not get up. I was so messed up.
Yeah, that killed the whole day.
Yeah. But
Luckily, we needed to take a rest day anyway.
yeah, because I was about the halfway point in the trip, so we were getting real tired.
Real sorry.
So yeah, we just hung out. We DoorDash Voodoo Donuts, which if you guys have never had Voodoo.
I wasn't then, but.
So yeah, so we hung out in the room for that day. Healed our brains from the concussions. We were walking back to the room and stepped on a metal, like a drain. And apparently it got wet and had frozen over. I didn't realize that it was that cold. Joke was on us. Our feet slipped right off from under us and we bashed the back of our head on the grate. Also, I'd like to mention that people just walked right past us and kept going. Can we talk about that?
I don't think anybody walked past us. There are people on the other side of the road.
Right. If you saw two people fly out from underneath themselves and bash their head
Am I going across there?
on a metal grate, wouldn't you go make sure they're okay?
Probably not. Because number one, it was after dark.
That's wrong.
Survival of the fittest.
Huh?
Survival of the fittest.
Well,
We got taken out.
maybe it's the healthcare provider in me, but I would have made sure that they were okay.
So what happens when you go over there to check on them and you bust your head open?
I wouldn't have stepped where they stepped.
But you wouldn't have known what I slipped on.
Then we're all just down for the count. I don't know.
YOLO.
So, healed from the concussion, hung out a couple more days, back in the car. And then we decided to go southbound to come back home because we basically did a big circle. We didn't want to do an out and back because that's a waste. You're just gonna see the same sights over again.
Yeah, all that corn.
Yeah, we don't want to go through that again. So, headed south. Oh, and the day we left, it was snowing, which I have a little video that we'll put in, which is cool because when we first started, it was like pretty fall weather in Nashville, and now we're in Denver, and now it's literally snowing. Like,
It was like hot in Denver, in Nashville that night.
and then snowed all the way through our whole drive out of Colorado.
Yeah.
And if you know where Denver is, that's a little ways. We had to go through like Castle Rock, where I almost thought we were gonna have to pull over. We had to stop.
We did.
We stopped in New Mexico, and he had to bash the ice off of the car because it had just continued to build and build and build to the point that we were just a giant chunk of ice traveling down the road,
Like a meteor.
basically. So we pulled over in New Mexico, which I appreciated because we stopped at this like little podunk gas station. You remember that? And it had the prettiest views. Like, we walked around like the back of the gas station,
Oh, yeah.
and it was basically just,
Is that the same state?
this is New Mexico.
Yeah, but I mean, New Mexico is big. I just remember it was a long time between knocking the ice off and then that. Wasn't it?
I
Because it
don't
like
think
warmed
so.
up pretty near
Oh.
when we stopped for the.
Well, then
gas
I guess you bashed the ice off in
We
Colorado.
remember, because we stopped at like some. We were probably almost out of Colorado, because we were at like a welcome center type thing.
So we got to the gas station, and I just wanted to take a picture and walk around the back, and it was the prettiest thing. It was like this, just the desert, and so pretty. And it was like suddenly it had stopped snowing and kind of cleared up, and we could actually see where we were finally. And it was amazing how much in just those few hours the scenery had changed. You know, it suddenly kind of flattened out again and just went from rocks to more sandy desert.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then we kept going, and we stopped in Amarillo, Texas, which was about our halfway mark because that was our long drive day. We went from Denver to Dallas in one day, which is about 13 hours. But there wasn't really anywhere fun to stop in between. And if we would have made another stop, we would have had one less night in Denver, and we didn't want to do that because that was our ultimate plan anyways, was to get to Denver. So we made a pit stop in Amarillo. We pulled off the side of the highway and saw the Cadillac Ranch, which we'll put a little picture of. So cool. Theoretically, if the weather was decent. What?
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 I was just gonna say, just Google a picture of it.
So when you go to the Cadillac Ranch, you're supposed to sign your name like on one of the Cadillacs, but it was the most bitter cold I had ever been in my entire life, I think, because it's right off the highway, so you're getting all the wind from the highway. It was below freezing, and it was just absolutely horrible, and I thought my skin was going to fall off my body. So like, we walked out of the car, went, saw the other cars, we're like, yep, that's good, and then literally ran back to our car, and it was misty, and it was just horrible, horribly cold, but cool. We got a cool picture. I didn't get to sign our names on it, but you know, whatever. We were so cold at that moment that we really didn't even care. So then from the Cadillac Ranch, we went to the Big Texan, which
was big. And in Texas. It's like a sideshow attraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like south of the border.
What's that?
A giant sideshow attraction in South Carolina. Going to North Carolina, I think. It's either in Georgia going to South Carolina or South Carolina going to North Carolina. But it's literally just a giant, like, visitor tourist trap with overpriced things. But the Big Texan had steak, which was delicious.
We got steak. So the Big Texan is something that we had heard about from another YouTuber's channel that we really like to watch, Eric the Electric. And that's not going to stack. He went to the Big Texan for a food challenge, which I don't remember the details of.
72 ounce. But you also have to eat a bunch of sides.
You have to eat like shrimp cocktail and potatoes and bread and all the things. Anyways, there's a giant food challenge there. So we were really hoping we were going to see somebody undertaking this giant food challenge. They put you on like this table in the middle of the room, and there's like a clock. You have to do it in under an hour. Everybody's dressed up in like cowboy hats and
Yeehaw!
the whole Texas shebang. But nobody was doing the challenge, but the food was delicious. Wonderful steak. When in Texas, you gotta get steak, obviously. And they had a cute little souvenir shop and
A firing range.
yeah. Very interesting. But very cool. Worth stopping, especially if
It's definitely worth stopping at.
yeah, and the food was really good. After being in the car for so long, we just kind of wanted to get out and like
I would have stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts at that point.
I know, right? But we wanted somewhere where we could like kind of wander a little bit. So the fact that they had like a gift shop and a couple other things, because you know it's kind of weird just to be like walking around a restaurant.
Yeah.
So it gave us an excuse to like get out of the car and just like stretch our legs for a little bit. And it's the kind of place people hang out for a little while. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
There's a hotel attached to it.
Oh yeah. So it would be a really nice pit stop, like if you had planned it. Well, you could stop there, spend the night. Although the hotel was a little.
I imagine the hotel rooms being like those themed rooms where they have like a firefighter theme room. Or
Oh yeah.
under the sea theme room where your bed's like a oyster. That's what that hotel reminded me of.
Probably because it's just very
Touristy.
touristy.
Probably cheap. I mean, cheap enough.
It's probably like holy Texas up in there. Like there's probably a longhorn skull above your bed. Like
There's
no doubt about it.
actual cow in your room.
Mm-hmm. Door handles, like a shotgun.
Cow.
And there's other things in Texas besides cows.
What is this sauce?
That is teriyaki from the fridge.
Oh man, I feel lied to.
It's good.
It's not bad. It's not what I was expecting.
What, the teriyaki?
I thought it was like steak sauce from there.
Oh, teriyaki.
Do we have steak sauce?
No.
F. Didn't you spill something at the Big Texan?
No.
Did the waitress? I feel like something got spilled at the Big Texan. I just don't remember. I was really exhausted by that point, though.
Yeah, at that point we were starting to kind of push our luck a little bit. I think that 13 hours was definitely past our cap.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe
reckon.
day. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Maybe day one. Like, if we would have done like the 13-hour day, like right out the gate, that would have been different. But at this point, we had already driven almost 4,000 miles. Probably. That day probably completed about 4,000 miles.
I don't even know
for
the
us.
total.
Close to 6.
Yeah, probably close to it.
Because from our front door to Denver is 3,000.
Straight there, though.
Is it? I think that's round trip.
I don't know.
I think that's round trip.
I have no idea, to
But
be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure that's round trip. So anyways, yeah, at that point we were just exhausted and over it a little bit. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, we have to get back in this car after eating a big old steak, which probably wasn't the best move. But we did it and we survived and we made it to Dallas that night because for one, we didn't really have a choice. We had a hotel there waiting for us that we had already paid for and we had to stay on schedule. So we got to Dallas and it was midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was midnight.
Midnight. So obviously we didn't do anything. I think we got like fast food. Oh yeah, we were gonna stop at In-N-Out. I really wanted In-N-Out because I've never had it, and there was an In-N-Out in Dallas. But we were so tired and still stuffed from the Big Texan. The Big Texan did us dirty.
We didn't even stop for food.
We didn't stop for food. Yeah, we just went straight to the hotel and crashed. Got up the next morning, didn't do anything in Dallas. Again, we just got straight in the car because we wanted to make it to our final stop, Biloxi, Mississippi.
MISSISSIPPI.
Yes. So from Dallas, we went to Biloxi.
Dallas, we went to Biloxi. In Biloxi, there wasn't anything to see because it looked like Florida. It just literally looked like South Florida swamp. Until, well, even once we got to...
It reminded me of Tampa.
Reminded me of Louisiana.
We were staying on the Gulf.
I know. until we got to whatever the little area is with all the fishing and hotels and stuff. Well, one of the areas, I'm sure. But we stayed at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel, which was mucho litto, because we got like a Rockstar suite for the night, which had a gigantic, like, I don't even know the word, like panoramic windows out into the Gulf, and then like the whole back wall of the hotel room was a window.
Even in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So like while you were showering,
you can like look out over the Gulf.
Yes, and it had those like auto curtains that went up and down. So I literally felt like a Kardashian. You press the button and the whole back wall was like just. Does that make me Ray J
or Kanye?
I didn't say what Kardashian. You could be Tyga.
I don't want to be Tyga.
So we're in the fancy room and we went to Sugar Factory for dinner and got some awesome drinks. If you guys have never been to Sugar Factory, highly recommend. They have them everywhere. They're just big fancy like goblets with like dry ice. It's theatrical and they're very tasty and the food is really good. And it was inside of the Hard Rock. There was also like a Ben & Jerry's and a Starbucks and a pizza place, a sushi place, all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely a one-stop shop. Like once you're there, you don't have to leave. So we hung out, went to Sugar Factory, did a little bit of gambling in the casino, which was fun. And that pretty much wraps it up there. Next morning, we got in the car and had 7 hours back home. So that was our trip. Super long, but very fun. And like I said, I'm going to do another video kind of explaining how we planned it. So if you want to do something similar, you can kind of base it off of that, and not necessarily the exact same trip that we did, but just kind of how we organized that many days in different places, timed it well, and booked things and organized it. So it took a lot of work, a lot of planning, but it was a blast, and I will definitely do it again. Not the exact same trip, but definitely would do a big road trip again. Learned a lot from the first go round that I think would be helpful. You got it over there?
I think so.
If we ever wanted to do it again. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. Hope you are subscribed. If not, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get our notifications. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. We're trying to post every 2 weeks now. So a few less trips going on. It's hot. It's summertime. It's miserable outside. And we've got a couple big trips coming up that we're trying to kind of save for and prepare for. So we're going to be posting a little bit less. Just so we can put out some good content and not just stupid filler stuff. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.